The national training program enters another phase. And a giant in the industrial sector partnering in a neighborhood cleanup.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Rolla. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, Grand Bahamas tourism sector remains in limbo, but there are some who are using this downtime to plan and invest with the goal of capitalizing on the opportunities when the industry makes a turnaround. Well, tonight, those involved in the zip line project say they remain committed to the mega tourism investment on Taino Beach. Within just months, the island of Grand Bahama will be able to boast of being the first in the country to have its very own zip line. President of Arawak Adventure and Commercial Tours Company Limited and General Manager of Pirates Cove, David Wallace, says this is an exciting time for the island. Construction has already begun, and the Grand Bahama Power Company is currently installing the poles. Here's how he says it will work.
Tower 1, which is already erected, tells the story of the Carib and Arawak Indians who came to the Bahamas in 1200 from South America. You will then zip to Tower 2, that tells the story of the pirates who used to invade this land, into the park to Tower 3, that tells the story of Christopher Columbus, who founded the Bahamas in 1492. Tower 4 will tell the story of the British, who brought law and rule to the Bahamas in 1729, established a parliament, and that's why we drink tea today. That's our British ancestry. From Tower 4 to Tower 5 at 65 feet, you will walk on a suspension bridge to Tower 5. Tower 5 is the tallest tower in the park. It's called Independence Tower.
He says Tower 5 will tell the story of Sir Lyndon Pinling, former Prime Ministers Hubert Ingram and Perry Christie, as well as current Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. And here's what happens on Tower 6.
I'm trying to convince the zipline construction crew to allow us to zip either laying down or upside down, like I saw in St. Lucia, but I've not been able to convince them to do that yet. But Tower 6, it tells the story of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, who leased this land from the owners, many persons from Smith's Point, who used to own this land, and so we are going to enshrine them by putting up all their names into Tower 1. Tower 6 will then take you to Tower 7, which is the end of the first phase of the zipline operation.
So far, 10 persons have been employed to make this dream a reality. And Human Resources Manager Constance Edwards says more employment opportunities are set to come on stream.
We have recently contracted some 10 persons that are currently being trained as systems operators, and they will be operating the zip line and taking the guests on tours around the 7 towers. In addition to that, we will be open, or simultaneously we want to open up the photo lab, so we will be recruiting for some photographers and additional cashiers. And who knows what's going to happen after that.
Responsible for the construction of the zip line is High Extreme Adventure Tours, a group out of Jamaica who has made its mark throughout the region when it comes to zip lines. Managing Director LaShawn Clark says residents can be assured that safety is their #1 priority.
For our part, we do everything possible to prevent problems. We use the best quality equipment available. We inspect these equipment regularly, and we maintain them in top conditions. The individual techniques we use on this tour are internationally recognized high-angle techniques. Plus, and most importantly, all our personnel, all the guides that will be trained here, will be receiving over 250 hours of training to help your clients move through the tour in the safest manner possible.
The National Training Agency continuing its mandate to prepare the nation's youth for a brighter future. The agency embarked on a new training session during an orientation meeting at the Ruby Swiss restaurant this morning. Sabrina Brown has the story.
Over 70 young people between the ages of 16 and 30 years have signed up for the 6th cohort of the National Training Agency on Grand Bahama. Executive Director Gadville McDonald says the participants will go through 14 weeks of intense training in preparation for the workforce.
There's 4 weeks of what we call soft skill training, where we focus on getting them to adopt the skills, specific soft skills that is necessary for the workplace. So we cover topics like motivation and empowerment, developing communication skills, making sure that they can have the right attitude when they reach on the job, how they can manage themselves in a significant way. We focus on team dynamics. We focus on workplace values and practice. In other words, we want them when they show up on the job to be prepared, to have the attitude that is required in the workplace.
Following the soft skills phase, the young people are ready for on-the-job training.
There's a number of individuals or organizations, companies that have partnered with us, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Freeport Container Port, BTC, we have that container in, Cable Bahamas, Alive, Quality Auto, and Bahama Rock have partnered with us. They're going to take on our trainees and literally allow them to go through a number of weeks in being mentored in the workplace.
The executive director says the NTA plays a vital role in preparing the nation's youth for employment.
We realize there are a number of people who have fallen through the gap. There are a number of young persons who would be classified as, say, uncertified. They don't have the certification, and it's very important for the work that the NTA is doing. In other words, bringing people to the point where they are certified. We grant them, and they will be given what we call a certification, a certificate, saying that, you know what, that I went through this training and I'm qualified.
Job placement is also a major focus of the NTA.
Over the years, the National Training Agency, both here and New Providence, has been what we call the go-to agency for a number of employees, right? Simply because they love the work that we've been doing with our trainees, because they realize that our trainees are well prepared when they come in the workplace.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, a major employer in the industrial sector extending a helping hand to the neighboring communities. This project, spearheaded by local government, is part of a greater effort to keep the environment clean. Natalia Hall reports.
It's a joint effort between the Pinders Point Local Government Township and Buckeyes Bahamas, formerly Borco, came together to clean up the community of Pinders Point. The group collected trash, removed debris, and cleared bushes. Chairman of the Pinders Point Township, Jackie Russell, says it was their goal to clean up the community, and Borco was happy to come on board.
This cleanup campaign, it has two phases. This is the first phase of the campaign, cleanup, and so we are mandated to keep the side roads very clean and also beautify the area. And so the next project is the beautification. There's some other projects that's in the making, like we have to deal with the stray animal population in this area. Also, we have a lot of derelict vehicles that we need to get rid of, and also there's dilapidated buildings that we'll be targeting so we can keep this area beautified. Also, if we want tourists to come into the area and we want to keep coming back, we have to keep the area clean. And you know the saying is, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Director of Operations at Borco, Jeff Charles, says employees were more than happy to lend a helping hand.
We obviously have a lot of the equipment and the personnel to do that, and it's very important for us to be a good neighbor. We're right here among the residents, so we want to do whatever is possible to be a good neighbor at all times.
Environmental Manager O'Neill Walkus and Government, Community and Relations Representative Gregory LaRota say this effort will continue.
We came out, we got our shirts. We asked our employees to come out on a regular work day to volunteer so that we can give back to this great community.
We hope that at the end of all of it, we can really get to the entire community and clean both sides of the street. If anyone have any bulk trash in the yard that they need to have removed, once they put it to the front, when we come through cleaning, we'll take care of everything.
Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Constituents of Pine Ridge meeting to discuss issues of concern in their communities. The meeting held on Saturday also provided an opportunity for the area's Member of Parliament to share his plans for the constituency as well. Natalia Hall was there.
The town meeting featured a panel of guests, including the Assistant Director of the Department of Social Service, Paula Marshall, Officer in Charge of the Ministry of Works, Tony Bannister, NEMA Supply Officer Tammy Mitchell, and other government representatives. The role of social services was one of the many issues discussed. The MP for Pine Ridge, Reverend Frederick McAlpine, notes that many constituents rely on the Social Services Department for assistance, but he encourages those who do to ensure that their priorities are in order.
I have a problem with you needing social service assistance and showing up for social service to pay your rent and your light, and you got $300 weave in your head. I don't want you using the taxpayers' money to constantly, or like she said, yes ma'am, I heard you, or the pension money of other people to help meet your need if you don't have a legitimate need. So therefore, that's why it is important for me to keep fussing and telling them I need some economic empowerment on the island of Grand Bahama so my people can work.
He says it is difficult for those who really need the assistance to ask for help. He encourages the Social Service Department to always treat those in need with dignity.
Kid you not, people are genuinely hurting. And lest I be misunderstood, if you're hurting don't mean you have to be popped down. Take care of yourself, look good, but what Mark is saying is prioritize your business.
Another topic discussed was the MP's promise of a general education development program. He says a facility is in the making and it will be called the Pine Ridge Educational Learning Center. Residents of Pine Ridge ages 18 and up will be enrolled.
I have located the spot. We are talking with lecturers. We are doing all the necessary work that needs to be done. But my goal is between now and the end of this election term to at least try to graduate somewhere between 150 to 200 persons. There will only be classes for 50 persons. And I'm targeting people, young people, who did not get their diploma. These teachers are qualified, retired teachers in the area of maths, English, science, and religion.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues in just a moment.